It's a quarter past 3, and you're not next to me. Hiding and called your phone, called your phone. I feel like you're ignoring me. I looked around, and all I see were your days surrounding now to me. I don't think I've ever been out crying in the rain, but ever since you left, things ain't been the same. Do you think of me like I think of you? I don't think I've ever. Hello everyone, you are now tuning into itsmontez.com. My name is Montez McCamish and I am the host of the show. Have you got a Facebook? I've got a Facebook. Make sure you connect to me by just searching Montez McCamish. I'm very active. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's a great way to reach out to me. Make sure you head over to the website, itsmontez.com. Click on the tabs above to give you a more in-depth about what exactly I am doing. Are you looking for an interesting article to read? You may now do so by going to itsmontez.com, clicking on the More tab, and clicking the selection of blog. This is where you will find more information. Thanks again for tuning in, itsmontez.com. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you don't do that, you can't keep up. Duh. So I think again, people always want to put the roof on the house when it hadn't even had the walls yet. And I think it's just really the paradigm of how it's really just been pushed to people. If you look at celebrities and things like that, everything looks like it's just snap, we're there. Time and time again, you'll hear that someone's getting frustrated because they can't have something to happen within the time that they wanted to do it. Newsflash, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Quit expecting something to fall inside your lap right here, right now. Within the time you've spent complaining, you could have been spending that time to make yourself progress forwards within whatever it is that you're doing. So you say you spent a year trying to do what you're doing. Try a little bit longer. Try 2 years. So you say you spent 2 years working on what you've been doing. Maybe you need to change it up and try something else. If you look at people inside the music business, you can see often that there's lots of things that could cause delays inside of people breaking their records. When looking at all the components that build up the music business, it's quite evident to see that there are lots of different trials and tribulations, lots and lots of different problems that you're going to have to go through. So then again, you have to go back and tell yourself it's going to take time, and that goes for anything, whether it's blogging, whether it's music, whether it's living your life. It's going to take time to learn. You've got to remember consistency is the key. There. You know, everything looks like this, but really the work ethic is so crucial. Could you tell us a little bit about your work ethic?
Well, mine personally, I've been very fortunate to do something that I love. And so it doesn't mean I love it 100% of the time, but it's easy to generally do the work that I need to do to get things done. I think
viewers, this is so important. It is so important that you really take this in. Do something you love doing, and it's almost as if you're not even working. I know so many people that work a job just to do it, just to get by, and they are miserable. I believe that if you're really trying to be happy within yourself, it's being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So if you're going to work making a paycheck and you hate what you're doing, and you can't even stand the job, what's the reason? There is no point, there is no happiness in life, I'd say. But then on the other hand, you'll read articles about people that make nowhere near as much money as the other people might, but they're happier. And you have to ask yourself, just why might that person be happier? But then when you really sit down and look at it, this person has really stopped and took in what they like to do and made it their priority. Instead of just working somewhere just because it makes them this amount of money, they decided that they were going to do something that they really enjoy doing versus just doing something because of the amount of money that it offered. When it came down to it, their happiness was more than the money.
Done. I think that's why it's important to love something that you do. Now, even when you do, hey, there are times we've got to do things we don't want to do. And we've got to do it. We just have to, because that's part of the game. It's part of what you have to do. But when you find something that you basically really love, it's a lot easier to make yourself do those things you don't always want to do, because most of the time you're doing things you want to do. So when you have something that you love to do, that's a great start. Of course, you also need to have some talent in it. So it's something that you're good at as well as what you love. And then finding a way to take what you love and what you're good at and associate that with a marketplace that will pay for it.
I think that's the hardest part, though, is finding how to apply it. I've been doing some videos with people and telling them, hey, look, if you want to reach a better audience, or if you're looking to do an audience, I just did one with Emily McGaw. It was talking about Periscope. And she's talking about how it's right here, right now, your good connection with me and my everyday life feeling. That's just one way to stream it out and to get more connections and contacts with people. Or can you give us some more ways to put this stuff on a platform? I know you're on LinkedIn. That's a good place to go, but is there any more places?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I've got pretty good presences there. I don't think we have to be on every platform. In fact, for most people, I think it's counterproductive to be on too many, because you can really be just all over the place doing nothing but that. I think it's good to be on a couple of them that are sort of in your wheelhouse, that allow you to connect with people that's easiest. I think that when we're on social media, I think we have to look at it like any other tool. It's not the thing itself. It's a tool to help build relationships.
When it comes to building relationships, sure, it can be quite frightening to build this kind of communication back and forth with someone, especially being that you can't even touch or physically see the person right in front of you. To build a relationship, it can be quite time consuming, whether or not you're passing it through emails or you're conversating back and forth through Instagram. Facebook was invented so you can make the Messenger app kind of go back and forth, and you do have the phone on Facebook so you can call and talk to each other and build your relationship there. But still, it is quite time consuming, and it can be bothersome to build a relationship. But as long as you build a relationship, I do think that you'll be able to see things blossom inside your future. So alongside the fears of building a relationship, there's other fears that will come to mind too. Is our content good enough? Do I post enough regularly throughout the day? There's lots of different questions that you keep asking yourself, but it really is going to come down to just this. You have got to be your own worst critic. Really, it's going to come down to what you think about it and how the things are going through your head. But then also too, when you're having other people induce your content, you got to think not everyone's going to enjoy your content. I have an interview that I've uploaded here that you can take a listen to, and LaDonna Marie is going to give you a real good clarification for just that reason why it doesn't really matter what other people have to say about the content. Why you shouldn't give up just because one person tells you your content's not good, or maybe you feel like maybe you're not doing good enough with your content. If you have these situations like this, watch this second half here, and it will definitely clear it up for you. What was the hardest thing for you to deal with when becoming an author and getting your books published and things like this, and how did you overcome it?
The hardest thing for me was in the beginning was that nobody was going to like it. I really felt like nobody was going to like it, but my obedience to the gift was, no matter what I feel, this is what I have to release out into the atmosphere. I have to, but the more and that was just my own little bubbles, and before you put something out there, you're like, oh, how are people going to receive it? So now moving forward, because I've been going through a lot of stuff with this last book, and now I'm like, okay, so I'm going through some stuff with this book, so I know this book is ready to rock the world. I know this is about to change some people's lives. This is about to do what it's supposed to do, because if I feel this uncomfortable, trying to, do it, and it's what I love, I know that it's about to impact some people's lives. So just getting over that initial, like, are they gonna like it? And then now I'm like, well, no matter if they like it or not, I'm gonna put it out there into the atmosphere, because like I said before, I am not gonna leave this earth full with words or with thoughts, or I'm not gonna have any shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, I know you heard that. I don't want to die with any shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I've made a film here that you can search on my YouTube. There will be no shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And check that out. But anyway, like she said, you don't want to go out with the shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, the brain is a terrible thing to waste. There's a lot of people out there who said, you know, I could have done that, but I should have done this, but I would have done this, but you know, all that kind of stuff right there. There are so many people that have that shoulda, coulda, woulda syndrome. But you know what? Before you die, you better do whatever it is that you can do. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk, he says it best. A lady asks him for some motivational advice, and then he says, "You're going to die." You know, and so, like, you know, and that right there should just be a big thing to change your mind around right there. Something as key as that, knowing that one day you may not wake up again to fulfill whatever it is that you were trying to do. Knowing that one day you might wake up and not be able to continue marking things off your bucket list. I mean, really, you could die eventually. I'm not saying that's a terrible scenario. You know, we don't want these things to happen, but then when you sit down and you think about that shoulda, coulda, woulda syndrome, you don't want to be an advocate for it. You don't want anything to do with it. You don't want to die with the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I'm not gonna have no regret. I'm gonna put it out there, and whether they like it or not, I tell my sons, because I have two sons, and I tell them all the time, you know, when they're younger now, but when they get older, they're gonna be able to say, my mom has books out. And they say that now, but when they get older, they be like, this is a book, my mom did this. Like, it's in literature forever. It's out in the atmosphere. Like, I put something out there for my legacy. So when they get to be older and older, and they're telling people, yeah, my mom is a writer, and this is what she do, this is her book, this is the legacy that she left for us. That's what's important to me. I know there are going to be some people who like it. I know there are going to be some people who don't like it. I got a 1-star review, I think, on Until Tomorrow Comes. But at that point, I said, and I had 48 other 5-star reviews. So that 1-star review, you know, at first I was like, wow. But then I said, everything that I write isn't for everybody, and it will find the audience that it's for. So some people may not like it, and some people do. So I just focus on the people that do, and the people who don't, oh well, find you something else to read.
So when we're getting to the point and we're talking about value, you know, supplying value, being worth value, bringing value to someone, a lot of times we don't take the time to sit down and think about how we can find the value in ourselves. Exactly, how can we show the value in ourselves without having someone pay for it right off the bat? Well, I've got a video for you here, and I hope this can clarify it up for you. I hope this can give you some power for you to find out how you can find your value, and then decide on how you're going to distribute it, whether or not you decide to go through your blog or your websites, or whether or not you want to use Facebook or Snapchat, just however you find out to do it. Listen to this interview, and I hope that it can give you some insight. A lot of people are in the music industry, into blogging, into a lot of things. I'd say beginners, people that are in your teens, if you're like maybe just starting out to doing something. That is critical. Gary Vaynerchuk speaks about it a whole lot as well, giving value to the people. But everybody's like, I want to sell it. I want to sell it. Like, so that whole epiphany thing, that whole giving the value thing, like, can you go a little bit further deeper in there? Like, a lot of people, they're like, oh, how do I give value? I don't have any value. I don't know any value. Can you go deeper into that for me?
Sure. And everyone does have value, and it's understanding the value you bring to the table that is so important.
I'd say finding your value is going to be one of the hardest things for you to do. Not everyone's born knowing what their value is, but everyone is born with a talent. So usually when you find out what your talent is, that could somehow apply to the value that you bring. But then again, I think when you think of value, you really need to stop and think of the smaller things. Like if you're thinking about like polls, or if you're thinking about what people like, on certain situations, they'll have like Nielsen's rating. They'll come out and they'll ask you questions. Or if you're thinking about voting, or if you're thinking about like feedback for someone, your feedback is very valuable. So like you have a lot of people on YouTube that might give their experiences on a product that they've used, or what do you call that, a review. If there's lots of different things to where there is value. It's just whether or not you see it as value. So a lot of times I think you're going to have to take your head outside of the box and really live as if you are the box. You know what I mean? You have to think a little bit further on the outside whenever you want to find your value. But I do think that this should help you out, trying to help you find your value. It should give you a leadway on how to give you direction to find more value. Anyway, let's tune back into this interview.
Now, at first, you may not have a whole lot of people wanting to hire you and pay you money for what you're doing, but there's always a way to build relationships with people. And it's building those relationships that lead to getting the opportunities to provide value in such a way that you'll be compensated financially.
So after we hear him say that, he says build relationships. And a lot of people are like, okay, I can't build a relationship. I don't know how to build a relationship. But the biggest thing is right here, right now, today, what you're listening to me on, whether in fact you're on your phone or on your Mac or on your PC or on your tablet or whatever the case is, whatever you're listening to me on right now is the biggest tool for communication. Right now, you are in a universe to where there are thousands and millions of people sitting here right now looking for a conversation. If you look at Facebook and the functions and how it works, it's solely on conversation. It's solely on people liking your content, letting you know that they like your content. It's solely on messaging back and forth to someone that you're talking to. So when you find these people inside the groups or inside the things like this, when you find these people, all you really got to do is build a positive relationship. Again, building a relationship is not all the time the easiest, but then if you think about it, when you first met somebody, it takes time. So like if you're trying to build a relationship in a day, you sometimes it might happen, but if it does, good, that's great. But if it doesn't, you can't just stop there. So we look at YouTube, for instance. If someone's sending you a comment on YouTube and you don't respond back to that comment, that's a relationship you missed to make. If someone's tweeted you and you haven't tweeted them back, that's a relationship you missed to make. If someone has commented on your Facebook post and it was a while back, but you had just got a comment today, but the post that you made was 2 weeks ago, and you don't respond to that person, that's a conversation you just missed that you could have made. That conversation that you make makes a friend. After you make the friend, then it's possible to make the revenue off of whatever you're doing.
So as you said, a blog is a great way to build value and get people to know the kind of value you provide without their having to take a chance in order to consume this value. You can have a talk show like you do and interview people. And when you do that, not only are you bringing value to your guests, but you're building relationships with the people that you are interviewing. You can bring value to people when you know what they're looking for and you can connect them with someone else. All the while, sure, you're out there selling your products and services, absolutely. But you're also building these relationships. And then when you build these relationships, you're in a position, you've created the environment where you can ask people for advice, or you can ask people to introduce you to someone and do these things. So it's always a matter of looking for, what you can give as opposed to what you can get, right? But that's just the focus. The focus is on the giving.
Wait. Did you get some knowledge? Are you looking for some knowledge? If you're looking for the knowledge, make sure you're subscribing and sharing. Because if you're not subscribing and sharing, other people aren't going to learn just like you're learning. Sharing is caring. itsmontez.com. Thanks so much for tuning in.
way. I'm just trying to find a better way. He carries our cross so that we can see a better day.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing. Okay, so this is for people that are looking to advertise their products on websites, okay? Obviously, you can go through AdSense to do that. You can do a bid for your product, okay? So this is something that I learned a while back because I used to sell products online like crazy. So I wanted to know, where am I going to get the best cost per click? How am I going to get the best cost per click? I would suggest to almost anybody advertising their products to use Facebook, okay, and also Google AdSense if you're advertising a product. If you have a product you're selling, a wagon, a kid's wagon, I'd like to get into this on some point and teach people how to do this stuff, because this is important. You can make $10,000 a week selling T-shirts on Facebook. I know a lot of people are like, wow, this is, that's crazy, but you can do it if you know what you're doing and you know how to do it right. Something that I did before I was doing this, I did it a lot, but slowly my life became less about money, more about doing what I'm doing now, because I don't make anywhere near the amount of money doing YouTube videos and doing the ministry stuff that I made selling T-shirts, selling crazy stuff online, just whatever I could sell to make, whatever I found a niche in to make money. It's important that you know a couple things too, especially if you're looking for a sponsor. And I think sponsorship is something that not a lot of people know a lot about. Or if somebody's like, I want to feature, you can feature your product on here. This is how much you charge. It's really important that you do not get scammed in this, because there's so many people out there that will say, hey, and I just recently went through a situation where somebody's like, pay us $500 a month and we'll stream your videos online. I'm like, no. First off, don't ever pay anybody to stream your videos. Don't ever do that. That's the stupidest thing ever. Nobody does that. Anybody that has any kind of a audience whatsoever, whether it be Netflix, whether it be whatever, they're not going to charge you to stream your video ever. They're not going to do that. They're going to pay you to have it on there, or they're going to put it on there for free. They're going to do that, okay? So it's important for you to know that. I don't know how much more I could go with this. Do not get scammed by a scam artist trying to make you charge money to be on their site. Do not do it, okay? YouTube is huge. You're never going to get a bigger audience than YouTube for streaming your content. They don't charge you anything to do it. Google Hangouts doesn't charge you anything to do it. Your own website doesn't charge you anything to do it. And any other content you're going to do, they're not going to charge you to do it. In fact, they're going to pay you if you make them money, if you do whatever you do. So that's important to note. One way you can check a website to see, okay, let's say I have a product that I'm going to sell. I want to sell a hat. I want to sell snapback hats, red and black, easy. I can get them for $1 or $2 online. I can sell them for $5 online. I want to sell these hats, but I'm looking for somebody that has a decent audience. Let's say I didn't go through Facebook. I didn't go through a website. I didn't go through or AdSense, but I have somebody that's like, okay, hey, dude, I'll feature for $5 a month. I'll put your advertisement for hats on my website, which you can find deals like that, believe it or not. People will do that, and sometimes it's a really, really good go-around. A website that I want you guys to keep this in your logs, keep this in your mind, is called similarweb.com. www.similarweb.com. Go to that website and check the website first before you make any kind of deal with that person. Check the amount of traffic they're getting. Check their bounce rate. These are all things that I'd like to talk about sometime, because this is stuff that needs to be addressed on this stuff. If you're wanting to sell a product, you really need to know this stuff, because you can go in through all the pitfalls you want. This is something I've been really successful at, is actually selling stuff online.
Again? And I think that would be very good if we do another show. Kind of, I guess you might call this how to keep from falling in the cracks.
Oh yeah, just like how to keep from getting scammed type thing. Similarweb.com is something where you can check the website. You can check and see what kind of traffic they're getting, but you can really catch a deal sometimes. I mean, going through Google AdSense is a really easy way to do it, because they automatically put your ads on any website that uses ads, and they know how to get you a cost per click. They know which ones to hit, because they make money if you make money. So it's important to to do Google AdSense is really good. Also, Facebook's really good to do. But let's say I found somebody that's a friend of mine. He's or not even a friend of mine, just somebody that has similar stuff to what I have that they have going on, and I think that their target audience is where I want to hit. So let's say I'm selling the toy carts, and I find somebody that has kids books on their website. Okay, hey man, I want to sell my toy carts on your website. I want to create an ad for your website. I'll give you this amount of percentage for everything that gets sold on your website. Before you do that, you need to find out how much traffic they're getting, and it can be very beneficial because they may not be used to receiving any for ad space in their thing. So you might be able to pay them, get by with $5 or $10 a month, and which would be way better than AdSense and way better than Facebook if you can find the right, website that'll do it. And you just need to know how much they got. It's similar web.com. You can type in their web address and you can see how much traffic they're getting, what pages they're getting the most. Well, if you upgrade, you can see which pages on their website they're getting the most traffic, and then you can say, look, on this page on your website, I want to advertise this, and I'll give you $5 a month for it, $5 a week, whatever you think it's worth to you to do it. If you're selling kids carts or kids toys or whatever, a website that has kids books or kids content, like say they have kids educational videos, that's a good place to start. That's a good place to do it. You can target your audience with it. This is kind of involved in analytics. Analytics is so deep of a conversation. We could literally talk for hours on analytics because it's so, especially in business, and maybe in ministry it's not. It is important to know your target audience in ministry, but it's more important in business to know your target audience and to know how you can get in front of your target audience, because we're talking like, a big difference, because like ministry, your audience gets kind of set for you in a way, with the content you produce. If you're selling a hat, you're going to want to go to people that wear hats. So if you're selling beard balm, you want to find people with beards. If you're selling kids toys, you want to find parents with kids. You want to get in your niche audience. So it's so important, and I'd love to get into it a little bit more sometime. I know it's like we're coming up on an hour right now, but I think it's so important of a subject. Really do your research. I mean, there's other people that have done YouTube videos about similar things, probably, I'm sure, and not a lot of people even give this information out, because I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have really successful businesses, but if you try to ask them questions about it, they look at you as competition and they don't want anything to do with talking to you about this stuff. I mean, I tried so long when I was selling t-shirts and selling things online to find somebody that could help me out, and I saw plenty of videos that say how to do this, how to do that, but they never gave you the real nitty gritty. They just kind of like, well, motivate you here, go on Facebook, do this, but they never really explained it to you in
Did you enjoy this knowledge? If so, please share. And make sure to tune in every single Monday at 9 o'clock. Get this knowledge with itsmontez.com, featuring John Pounders from Now You See TV. Thanks so much for tuning in. This film has been sponsored by Now You See TV. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Itsmontez.com for everything Montez McCamish. Duh. Itsmontez.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I actually wanted to talk to you about your failures. I've failed a lot. I've gone through some things. I didn't finish, I would try to, like school for instance, I didn't finish school. I ended up going and getting my GED, but I failed at making it through high school. I failed at continuing on the basketball team and stuff like that. I failed at, sometimes I would try to get a project done at this time and I wouldn't get it done, or failure. I just wanted to talk to you about failure. Whenever maybe you might have something you're trying to do and the outcome isn't what you want. Failure. Within failure, there's learning. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. It's not lose, you know what I mean? Because you haven't lost. You just learned something. You learned how else to go about something. You learned the do's and the don'ts. You learned how to go about the next task that there might be at hand, you know. If you go into the situation and you don't learn anything, then I would say it was a loss. You know, I would say you lost. You know what I mean? So if you have that closed mind saying either you win or you lose, you've already lost. So you got to really have the mind of you win or you learn. You know what I mean? So like when I go into all the situations that I'm going into, I'm every situation I'm going into, I'm not ever gonna lose it if I've already got the idea that I'm gonna learn it anyway. You know what I mean? Like if I don't win within what I'm doing, the posting of the posts, the recording of the videos, or the deals that I might need to close on promotion, or maybe if Underground Marketing or has an interview that we might need to do, if we could close on that interview, be there on time. You know, either you do and I am there on time, or I'm not on time and I learn for why I'm not on time. I didn't lose, I had to learn. See what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to bring to you. I wanted to let you know, whenever you might not get what you want, or it might not be the outcome that you would desire, don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a learning situation. There's times where you're going to hit these learning curves that you're going to have to learn to go about things a certain way. With that being said, leave your thoughts below. We are so thankful for our subscribers. Like, comment, and share this video. itsmontez.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. This film was brought to you by Now You See TV, itsmontez.com. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thanks so much.
Hello. So I think I'm just the cutest little deer ever. You're